What's up with it, YouTube? Back at it once again with a brand new video. I hope you guys have been liking the brand new content and also my editing. But of course, in today's video, as mentioned in the title, today I'm going to be ranking every way to make money as a beginner in 2024. Now, the reason why I'm doing this video is because a lot of these things that I'm going to be discussing in this video, and a lot of things that that I've seen on the internet, as well as other people have seen on the internet, post 2020. Some markets I feel is oversaturated. Some markets, and a lot of these gurus online are not necessarily being transparent on how much work you actually have to put in to make these particular things successful, as well as the amount of time and just the patience it comes with actually being successful in said thing. Right. So with that being said, first things first, if you guys are looking to start, a side business that does make money, that you can, make a little extra money on your job, definitely check the description below and see about starting a fragrance oil business with us. You can take your stand anywhere in the world, and pretty much all you have to do is just ask people, do they wear cologne or perfume? It's pretty much that simple, and you make extra money on the side. And some people can make more money, hourly on your job. It's fairly simple. But outside of that, I want to be very, very clear when it comes to making money as a beginner. So typically, post 2020, a lot of people and a lot of gurus have marketed to where people in their early 20s or in their teens, they've been creating an illusion that people should be making millions and millions of dollars. And if you're not making millions and millions or hundreds of thousands of dollars, you're a failure in life. When realistically, most of these gurus on the internet are lying, and truthfully, most of these people do not have the money that they say they do, and most of them don't actually make money teaching the skills that they actually are selling to you. And in fact, most of these people are actually making their money off of you buying their course. But that's neither here or there. Let's go ahead and get into it. So the first particular skill and the first particular, I would say, it could be a career that we're going to get into. I'm going to be ranking is trading, better known as day trading. Me personally, I've actually, and also that's another thing. So a lot of these things in here and on this particular list that we're going through today, I've actually done myself, and I've failed, and I've had success in some of them. So number one is trading, day trading. The great thing about day trading is you can make a lot of money really fast, but the con is you can lose a lot of money really fast. Particularly, I say day trading is definitely, a top tier skill that, I give it like a B minus, because, you can make millions. I do know people who've made millions trading, but how realistically it is for the average person is not really realistic. The average person is going to take you probably a couple years to master the art of actual trading. It's not really, as, easy as a lot of gurus make it seem. It takes a lot of patience, takes a lot of calmity, and it also takes income. A lot of people who want to get into day trading don't necessarily have the income to actually invest into day trading, and you have to actually be willing to lose money. In fact, with most of these things that I'm going to be talking about today, you have to be willing to lose money to actually be successful in a ton of these particular skills and activities. But day trading, I give it a B minus because it definitely is lucrative. I personally tried day trading. I don't like it because my stress levels, I don't really like, looking at charts all day. I'm more so of a traditional stock investor, crypto investor. I like to let my money sit and hold, as well as real estate, because most people know that I actually sell real estate in Florida. That's neither here or there. But day trading, give it a B minus. next skill set is drop shipping. Now, I've been a drop shipper in the past, the whole, post 2020, the peak of drop shipping, I would say would be like, 2016, 2015, where a lot of people didn't necessarily know about it and Facebook ads just came out. But fast forward to all the way to, past uh, COVID and COVID era and uh, past, all the gurus telling people and teaching people to get into drop shipping. Drop shipping is not as easy as it once was 10 years ago. That's just a fact. And realistically, if you were to start drop shipping with no money in your bank account, you're not going to be successful at all. In fact, most people who drop ship don't make money. That's a fact because it costs a lot of money and a lot of people don't actually have the skill set of advertising to where they can sell any particular product. Me, I know this because now currently I'm actually a digital marketer, and if you actually look at some of my old videos, I actually help brands make 5 figures, 6+ figures a month with Facebook, TikTok, Google advertising, etc. But it's not easy at all. And these particular brands that I actually work with actually have money to spend and have money that they're willing to lose. And I'm not talking about $500, $1,000. I'm talking about 30,000, 40,000, 100,000, 200,000. And their return on revenue is insane, but they're also willing to put up the risk. But nowadays, most people in the dropshipping business are actually making money coaching people on how to drop ship versus actually making money drop shipping. And another thing with drop shipping is a lot of people don't necessarily tell you that most people who are profitable or say they're profitable online with drop shipping are only profitable 20 to 30%. Most people who you see actually, advertising that they're making millions, they didn't make millions. They probably generated millions, but they probably spent 70% of their revenue on ad spend. And that's something that a lot of people don't talk about is, majority of your revenue goes towards ad spend. So you're not necessarily going to be very profitable when it comes to drop shipping. So for drop shipping, I'm going to give it a D because it's not as lucrative as it once was. Is it still possible to make money in drop shipping? Yes, but it's highly competitive, highly oversaturated. And if you don't have money put up willing to lose, like a couple thousands of dollars, you are going to take a loss. Now, what I will say is for any of these particular avenues that I'm discussing, people do indeed get lucky, and some people, are able to find, that one-hit wonder, whether it's, doing a trade, whether it's doing prize picks or even drop shipping, and they win big. But that's not the average person. I'm actually talking to the average everyday person, particularly the people who are 18 to 24 years old. I'm 23 now. I'm actually about to be 24. And actually, or whether you're in your college years trying to figure out how to make money and, life is just life. Drop shipping is definitely not something I definitely recommend for anybody because realistically, most people are not going to make money. The next skill I would say would be clothing brand. Now, this is actually something, that I feel like, has gotten really big, post-COVID by people like Dantes Akram, which I used to actually, be in his actual coaching group on how to build a clothing brand. And a lot of the techniques actually work. And having a clothing brand is actually, probably one of the better things that a person could do. I'm gonna rate it like a C plus because starting a clothing brand, is very profitable, but it depends on the brand. And I'm personally dealing with this now with a lot of the brands that I help manage is every clothing brand that you start is not going to hit. Doesn't necessarily matter how good the design is. You have to have a marketing budget to get clientele, but also every brand is different, meaning that some brands, I've worked with some brands who they don't have to do no marketing or anything. All they have to do is make a single post on Instagram and they're making like $30,000 in one drop. And then those same brands, when you turn on ads, they actually, earn in the negative when it comes to running ads because that's not necessarily what their brand likes. So for clothing, it's very, very lucrative. Personally, I've done it myself. It actually works. I just don't like clothing. My niche is more so, aromatherapy, smell goods, making people feel good type of deal. That's why I kind of steer away from it. But it's definitely something that people should definitely look into. If you are going to get into clothing, you definitely need to make sure you actually have a good manufacturer who's actually reliable. I know a lot of people in the clothing industry, the biggest problem is, finding a manufacturer that will actually get their products to the United States on time, and not mess up shipping terms. But, it's definitely good. Definitely rate, having a clothing brand a C. I would say, for any of you guys who are actually interested in starting a clothing brand, to reach out to Dantes Akram and, check out his information online, or just reach out to me, because we actually, at Epic Studios, if you know, we actually help scale clothing brands, from doing, low 5 figures to, 6 figures a month using Facebook ads, TikTok ads, etc. The next skill is going to be a whole marketing agency. Definitely made popular by people like Iman Gadzhi. He's pretty much teaches people on email copywriting, digital advertising, as well as other things. But how actually profitable these particular things are, very profitable. But as far as, a lot of gurus typically like the market, as far as, when it comes to charging high retainers monthly, it's really not realistic. A lot of businesses that you go to, charging a high retainer without proper results is not really going to work. And that's why I would say having an agency is probably ranked a D minus. And the reason why I would make it a D minus is because most people who start an agency are not going to be successful at all. If anything, you're probably going to lose a ton of money and probably run out of patience when it comes to starting your own agency, because not only do you have to manage other people's business, the success of their actual business, whether it's, being in the sales department, whether it's, running actual advertisements, copywriting, etc. It's very, very stressful, and it can get cost consuming. And for most people, if you don't know what you're doing, people who you are charging these large retainers are going to look at you like you are crazy. I personally, right now, have clients who I'm not doing anything wrong, and they're looking at me crazy because, they're not necessarily doing, what we've recommended that they do when it comes to running our particular ads and whatnot. But that's neither here nor there. As far as running an agency, it's still lucrative. It's very, very hard to run, especially when you have employees and whatnot. But it's very, 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 very cool. It's very cool, very lucrative, but as far as, somebody just jumping into it, definitely do not recommend it. What I recommend for most people who are definitely interested in, getting into the agency space and listening to people like Iman Gadzhi, I would definitely recommend you work for an agency before starting your own agency, because the things that people teach online versus how actually reality is fairly different. But what I will say is, when it comes to those gurus like Iman Gadzhi, they don't necessarily make their money doing what they're actually teaching. They make their money actually being really good digital marketers and selling the skill set versus actually doing the skill set. And, it's pretty much for most online gurus, most of these people don't really actually do what they teach. They make their money from teaching, which is nothing wrong with that. I support it. Which actually leads me to my next niche. And this is actually something that, has been fairly big, over the past couple of months is, of course, with AI development and stuff like that, is YouTube automation. YouTube automation actually What a lot of people, like a lot of people who are, telling you to get into YouTube automation, a lot of the YouTube automation space is cashed out already. Most people who made a ton of money easy made their money in like 2015, 2016, rain videos and all that type of stuff was fairly new. A lot of people telling people to get into it. It's still lucrative. It's just not as lucrative as people are making it seem. A lot of people who are selling those courses, once again, are making money actually selling the course versus actually doing the YouTube automation. In fact, what a lot of people don't like to talk about YouTube is YouTube only pays you $18 per thousand streams, per thousand views. Which in the grand scheme of things is not really a lot of money if you're doing millions and millions of views. It can be a lot of money, but for most people who are in the YouTube business, you'll make a lot more money doing affiliate marketing and actually obtaining sponsorships than you actually will trying to focus on making money off AdSense, which a lot of people on YouTube and in the YouTube automation space will not tell you. In fact, I personally have made more money from my podcast, my podcast ad revenue, before Spotify changed, their guidelines, than I have any of my YouTube channels when it comes to AdSense, and that's saying a lot. So I rate YouTube automation, I would say a D plus. Now, when it comes to the next topic it would be Airbnb arbitrage. Now, this is something that, with me being in the real estate business, a lot of people would probably think that I would be highly a fan of Airbnb arbitrage, but I'm actually not. And here's why: because a lot of people teaching Airbnb arbitrage don't necessarily teach the cons. And this is the problem that I have with most online gurus, is they don't necessarily teach the cons of any of these particular businesses that they teach. With Airbnb arbitrage, you actually have to get permission from the particular owner to Airbnb their property, which is actually a very hard thing to do. And it's not something that you just walk up to somebody and they just say yes or no. It's a process. Two, a lot of states like New York and Atlanta are actually cracking down on people having Airbnbs altogether. At the time of this video, I think New York has pretty much tried to ban Airbnbs altogether within the state. I have to double check on that, but and places like Atlanta have put limitations on how many Airbnbs you can make. And one thing that a lot of people in the real estate business, and people in the real estate business, but the average person doesn't know, like when you're getting into Airbnb arbitrage and really just, getting into investing into single family homes in general, you're not making a ton of money, especially if you're paying rent or you're paying a mortgage. And for most people who do Airbnb arbitrage, 9 times out of 10, you're renting or paying a certain amount of money to Airbnb the place that you're using because you don't own it. And in most places, most people end up in the negative, or if anything, they're only profiting $300 to $400 a month on average after all expenses, because a lot of people don't like to talk about houses, and single family homes are very expensive to actually keep up the upkeep with. It's not something that you can just do and you can charge $1,000 a night. Now you probably can for a luxury property, but for a traditional single family home, it's not really lucrative. And that's why most people jump into the business and get out the business. And in fact, most of these gurus, how they actually even obtain the funding for a lot of these Airbnbs, they use business credit, which is not a knock to them, but I feel like it should be a little bit more realistic when it comes to their approach. So I would give Airbnb arbitrage an F. I definitely don't recommend it's something that people actually jump into, because it's a lot harder than it seems. And when it comes to actually obtaining and getting into Airbnb arbitrage, you would be better off obtaining, a multi-family unit property and generate more revenue versus, trying to get into the Airbnb business. And that leads me to my last thing, and that's becoming a setting slash closer. Um, Now this is something that's it's been around for years. Being a setter slash closer and actually selling things over the phone is very lucrative. It's a skill set that I definitely recommend most people who are trying to make extra money definitely get into. I give it like a B plus because it's not necessarily. Well, I would say it's hard to get a job to where you can actually become a setter and closer and actually make money. For most people, I highly recommend a lot of people get into tech sales. That way, not only you can sell products over the phone, but for commission, but you also actually get a salary. Um, for the most part, I think people who don't have type of salary or guaranteed income, most people are going to be struggling. And for most people who are watching this video, pretty sure you do not want to be struggling. And for most of these businesses and business models, you are going to be struggling if you don't have consistent income coming in. So for the most of you, it would be best for a lot of you to probably obtain a side job and maybe then get into investing into these businesses. But for the most part, if I could recommend businesses that people can actually start and actually make real money, definitely be a clothing brand. um, it would be becoming a setter slash closer, as well as trading. And I'd probably say getting into the marketing agency field. But any of these skill sets is not easy to learn. Well, they're probably easy to learn, but not easy to master. And when it comes to actually making a ton of money in these fields, for most people, it's going to take years and possibly, months. But realistically, it's going to take you years to master these particular things and actually make a ton of money. And that's something that a lot of people will not tell you. But I actually want to shed the truth on YouTube. But you can make it bad. Now, what you can do is you can start a YouTube channel when you're doing these particular things and document your journey and make extra money doing that. But you have to be very strategic with any of these particular skill sets. Now, for those people who are looking for financing, business credit, or just looking to start a side business, without having to worry about putting up a whole bunch of money for things like drop shipping, trading, and you just want to get to it and actually make some extra money, definitely check out my wholesale option when it comes to becoming a distributor for my fragrance oil business. We have distributors all over the United States right now, and people make extra money, extra $300, $500 a day talking to people, whether you're at work or at the mall or whatever, can help a lot of people and change a lot of people's lives. So definitely check that out. That's in the description, or just go to thealexanderbrand.com. But for the most part, I hope you guys love this video. Let me know how you like this video. Let me know how you guys are liking the new content. And also, it's by the time you see this video, it should be 2024. So Happy New Year if you are watching this video. And if anything, when it does come to any of these skill sets, I definitely recommend that a lot of you guys actually focus on doing something that you actually love doing versus just trying to do any of these skill sets to make a quick bag. Because realistically, that quick bag is not going to come from most people. Some people do get lucky, some people do hit a lick, but for the most part, it's not. Everything takes time. It takes time to grow a plant, and yeah. But like, subscribe, share, peace.